Fans of Southern Charm and Summer House are at a crossroads when it comes to the Paige DeSorbo and Craig Convor breakup. A lot of people do not know which side to choose. There has been a lot to come out since they broke up. However, there are always two sides to a story. This is where fans do not know where to stand. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Paige DeSorbo and Craig Conover end things. Gets messy. Paige DeSorbo and Craig Conover were together for about 3 years. However, Paige ended things with Craig. Fans thought the relationship was going well. That was until new episodes of Summer House aired, and the signs are all there. Craig has admitted that he was in love with the potential of what they could be, not with what they were at the moment. This has been hard on Craig. However, he is out in the dating world again with a new girlfriend. Paige has been focusing on her career and completely cut Craig out of her life. So there are obviously two sides you could take here. However, choosing which side has become difficult for fans. Fans are at a crossroads with the breakup situation. Fans are at a crossroads when it comes to choosing a side after the breakup. Most felt bad for Craig at first because he wanted their future to become a reality so badly. However, after watching more, they think the signs were there and Craig should have known this was coming. I'm embarrassed to admit, but when news first came out of Craig and Paige's breakup, I couldn't help to be more sympathetic and low-key upset with Paige, as neutral as I attempted to be. I definitely supported Paige in her decision, and as a 43-year-old, I am all too familiar with how much you can evolve as a person. Also, I have noticed since last season that Paige isn't the nicest to Craig, and it made me feel sorry for him. However, as time has gone on, Craig has become the most annoying person on Southern Charm this season in my opinion. I know he's always had a bad rep regarding his temper tantrums and lying, but I found them funny in comparison to the rest of the men on that show. He created his own fantasy version of the relationship when it was literally all in front of him. So glad to find a post that isn't full of Paige haters. Those older women on Facebook are constantly coming for her and never see her side of things. Been fighting for my life trying to defend her. I think she kept voicing her opinions and where she was in life in terms of big decisions like moving in and marriage and kids, and he heard what he wanted. She would say, yes, I do want all that at some point, but he thought that meant within a year, or he thought he could have her see his life and how good he had it, and that would push her to want that. While people may not totally be on Craig's side, they do see that he wanted their future to work badly. It seems as though there is a good amount of fans on both sides. Some think Paige was in the wrong, while others think it was entirely Craig's. Really, it comes down to the person and what they choose to believe. There is a lot of he said, she said going on right now with little to no proof, which makes it hard for people to know who is telling the truth. What do you think about this situation? Whose side are you on? Sound off in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts on this situation. Crossroads of Charleston and the Hamptons. Navigating the murky waters of Paige DeSorbo and Craig Conover's contentious split. Dhaka, Bangladesh, April 5, 2025. The seemingly idyllic romance between reality television darlings Paige DeSorbo of Summer House fame and Craig Conover, a prominent figure in Bravo's Southern Charm, has come to a dramatic and decidedly messy conclusion, leaving a significant portion of their dedicated fanbase caught in a perplexing quandary. The dissolution of their approximately 3-year relationship has not been a clean break, but rather a tangled web of he said she said narratives, fueled by on-screen portrayals and post-breakup revelations. This intricate situation has created a palpable divide among viewers, many of whom find themselves struggling to discern a definitive right or wrong side in this unfolding drama. The initial perception of DeSorbo and Conover's relationship, at least from the outside looking in, painted a picture of a burgeoning connection between two charismatic personalities from distinct but interconnected Bravo universes. Their interactions often appeared playful and affectionate, offering fans a glimpse into a bi-coastal romance navigating the challenges of distance and demanding careers. However, the seemingly smooth surface began to crack with the airing of recent episodes of Summer House, offering a more nuanced and ultimately less harmonious portrayal. What has become a central point of contention? Craig Conover himself has publicly admitted to being in love with the potential of their relationship, rather than fully embracing the reality of what it was in the present moment. This candid admission has resonated deeply with viewers, offering a potential explanation for some of the underlying tensions that ultimately led to the breakup. Conover's words suggest a tendency to project an idealized future onto the relationship, perhaps overlooking or downplaying existing incompatibilities or differing perspectives on key aspects of their lives together. Understandably, the breakup has reportedly been emotionally challenging for Craig Conover. However, life in the reality television spotlight moves quickly, and Conover has seemingly already ventured back into the dating world, reportedly involved in a new relationship. This rapid transition has further complicated the narrative for fans, with some questioning the timeline and the emotional depth of his previous commitment to DeSorbo. Meanwhile, Paige DeSorbo appears to be navigating the aftermath of the split by prioritizing her career and seemingly severing ties with her former partner. This decisive action has been interpreted in various ways by viewers, with some applauding her focus and self-preservation, while others view it as further evidence of a potential disconnect or lack of effort in salvaging the relationship. The stark contrast in their post-breakup trajectories, Conover seemingly moving on romantically while DeSorbo focuses on her professional life, has only intensified the dilemma for fans attempting to choose a side. The situation is further muddled by the inherent subjectivity of interpreting reality television narratives, where editing and selective storytelling can significantly influence viewer perception. The online discourse surrounding the breakup has become a microcosm of this fan divide. Initially, a wave of sympathy seemed to lean towards Craig Conover, with many viewers empathizing with his expressed desire for a shared future and perhaps perceiving Paige DeSorbo as less invested or willing to compromise. Comments expressing sadness for Conover and questioning DeSorbo's commitment were prevalent across social media platforms. However, as more insights into their relationship dynamics have emerged, particularly through the lens of Summer House, a significant shift in public opinion appears to have occurred. Many viewers now believe that the signs of underlying issues were evident, suggesting that Conover may have been overly optimistic or perhaps even willfully blind to DeSorbo's reservations or differing life priorities. This perspective argues that DeSorbo consistently voiced her opinions and boundaries regarding major life decisions, such as cohabitation, marriage, and starting a family, but that Conover may have selectively heard what he wanted to believe, interpreting her openness to these possibilities at some point as a more immediate and concrete commitment. One insightful fan comment encapsulates this evolving sentiment. "I'm embarrassed to admit, but when news first came out of Craig and Paige's breakup, I couldn't help to be more sympathetic and low-key upset with Paige, as neutral as I attempted to be. I definitely supported Paige in her decision, and as a 43-year-old, I am all too familiar with how much you can evolve as a person. Also, I have noticed since last season that Paige isn't the nicest to Craig, and it made me feel sorry for him. However, as time has gone on, Craig has become the most annoying person on Southern Charm this season, in my opinion. I know he's always had a bad rep regarding his temper tantrums and lying, but I found them funny in comparison to the rest of the men on that show. He created his own fantasy version of the relationship when it was literally all in front of him." This comment highlights the initial inclination to sympathize with Conover, fueled by his expressed longing for a future together. However, it also acknowledges a growing perception of incompatibility, with the viewer noting instances where DeSorbo's demeanor towards Conover appeared less than affectionate. Furthermore, the commenter points to Conover's alleged tendency to create an idealized version of the relationship that did not align with the reality presented. Conversely, Paige DeSorbo has also garnered a significant base of support, with many fans applauding her for prioritizing her own needs and not feeling pressured to conform to Conover's vision of the future. These supporters often point to DeSorbo's consistent articulation of her life goals and timeline, arguing that she was transparent about her perspective and that Conover may have misinterpreted or downplayed her statements. Another fan's comment reflects this viewpoint. "So glad to find a post that isn't full of Paige haters."